So OpenAI is building a new piece of hardware. And get this, it has no screen, no apps. Its only interface is your voice and a camera.
And that's not an accident. It's intentionally screenless. Think of it as a small ambient device. It's not here to replace your phone, not at all. It's designed to live alongside it, capturing information and context from the real world. You know, in those moments where pulling out your phone just feels like a barrier.
And the person engineering it? None other than Jony Ive, the mind behind the iPhone. Now, OpenAI didn't just hire him, they bought his entire hardware startup in a deal that's reportedly worth around $6.5 billion. That kind of money is a massive commitment. It tells you right away, this is no side experiment.
But look, if you're thinking this is just another AI gadget, you're missing the entire point. You have to understand the strategy here. This device isn't really a gadget at all. It's a data pipeline. It's designed to solve the single biggest problem Sam Altman is facing right now. The internet, well, it's been pretty much exhausted as a source of training data. For future AI models to get any better, they need a brand new continuous stream of high-quality data. And that data has to come from the physical world.
All right, so let's get into the specifics. Internally, this project has a code named Gumdrop. And, by triangulating information from supply chain leaks and a bunch of different reports, the picture of what they're doing is already becoming, unusually clear. Okay, so here's what we know. The device is in the design phase right now, and they're aiming for a launch sometime in 2026 or 2027. It's apparently pen-shaped, and one really interesting feature keeps popping up, the ability to transcribe your handwritten notes. But honestly, the most telling detail here, it's about manufacturing. They're using Foxconn, but in Vietnam. That's a huge, expensive, and very strategic move. It helps de-risk the supply chain from all the geopolitical tension, and more importantly, it proves they're treating this as core infrastructure, not just some speculative gadget they're throwing at the wall. But to really get why OpenAI is doing this, you first have to understand the spectacular failures that came right before it. There's a graveyard of these things. I mean, think about the Humane AI Pin and the Rabbit R1. They both launched with this incredible amount of hype, and then they just collapsed. Their big mistake, their fundamental mistake, was trying to create a whole new category without controlling the actual platform underneath. OpenAI is doing the exact opposite. They're starting from a position of platform leverage, and they're building infrastructure, not just another hyped-up gadget. So let's talk numbers. $116 million. What's that? Well, after Humane burned through hundreds of millions in capital, that's what HP paid for their leftover assets. A tiny fraction of the investment. It was a total fire sale. Okay, how about this number? 5,000. That was the reported number of daily active users for the Rabbit R1 after they sold an initial 130,000 units. That isn't just a drop, it's a catastrophic collapse in engagement. And you can bet OpenAI was watching these failures very closely. And all of this leads to the crucial point. OpenAI's biggest vulnerability, their Achilles heel, isn't the quality of their AI models, it's access. Plain and simple. Right now, ChatGPT is buried behind layers and layers of technology that OpenAI does not control. And who controls those layers? The platform gatekeepers. Think about it. On your iPhone, Siri is the default. On Android, it's Gemini. The app stores, the web browsers, the operating systems themselves, they're all choke points, and they're all controlled by OpenAI's biggest and most powerful competitors. And look, this isn't just me speculating. This comes directly from court testimony. During Google's big antitrust trial, OpenAI's own head of ChatGPT, a guy named Nick Turley, said this under oath. He admitted the company is, and I quote, deeply worried about being shut out, because user behavior is almost entirely driven by defaults, and right now, OpenAI controls exactly 0 of them. This is where a dedicated piece of hardware completely changes the game. It creates a direct physical path straight to you, the user. It just bypasses the app stores and operating systems entirely. So instead of you episodically opening and closing an app, this thing creates a persistent presence. It's designed to turn your interaction with AI into an unconscious daily habit. Now, this whole hardware play didn't just appear out of thin air. No, it's a move being forced on them by absolutely immense competitive and financial pressure from the entire AI market. And this chart, it really shows you the problem perfectly. As the models from competitors, we're talking Google, XAI, all of them get better and better, that quality gap is closing fast. There's this growing belief that pretty soon all the top AI models will be, basically the same in terms of quality.
And when your product becomes a commodity, the entire battle shifts. It's no longer about who has the best product, it's about who has the best distribution.
And at the exact same time, OpenAI is under just insane financial pressure. The company is reportedly trying to raise up to $100 billion in new funding. And that money isn't just for R&D. It's for the data centers, the raw compute power, and the sheer energy required to even stay in the game. The stakes here are absolutely astronomical.
So with that context, you start to see why Gumdrop is just one front in a much, much larger war for distribution. For example, reports suggest Pinterest is a potential acquisition target. Why? For its 600 million users and that gigantic image dataset. But even more striking than that, remember Nick Turley from the court testimony? He also said OpenAI would be interested in buying Google Chrome if antitrust regulators ever forced Google to sell it. The goal here isn't just to be on the internet, it's to own the gateway to. So, when you connect all these dots, the hardware, the acquisitions, the court testimony, Gumdrop stops looking like some quirky little AI pen. You see it for what it really is, the physical edge of a much larger strategy. This is a fight for survival and ultimately for market dominance. Because in this new landscape, hardware is the new browser. The physical device becomes the main entry point to the entire digital world.
And in a future where AI is everywhere and, let's be honest, increasingly interchangeable, direct access to the user becomes more valuable than the algorithm itself. Access is the new algorithm. Because ultimately, it's simple. The company that controls how you interact with artificial intelligence is the company that controls the entire market. The interface, that's the final gatekeeper.
Which, brings everything back to a very simple, very human question. After all the strategy, all the billions in funding, and all the brilliant design, it all comes down to this one thing. Will any of us, trust a screenless, always-on AI enough to actually make it a part of our daily lives? Because without that trust, this whole thing dies on arrival.